A invitation. Leo adjusted his jacket and looked once more at the invitation in his hand. It wasn't printed on paper, but a soft glowing sheet that hummed when touched. The writing shifted between two languages, his own and that of his alien friend, Lyra. She had invited him to her home for dinner. Not a shared meal on neutral grounds, not a small cafe on Station Delta 3. This was her home. A personal invitation from a species known for guarding their space closely. Leo met Lyra during a diplomatic translation project. She was tall and graceful, with shimmering teal skin that changed shades with her emotions. Her eyes, large and soft, showed curiosity rather than judgment when it came to humans, something rare outside Earth. He had no clue what to expect tonight. Alien dinners had strict traditions. Some species saw food as sacred. Others used meals for challenges or odd bonding rituals. He just hoped this one didn't involve any surprise combat. As he stepped into the shuttle, he reviewed the checklist again. No shoes inside. Speak only after being spoken to during the entrance. Don't compliment the food until after the second bite. And absolutely no handshakes with elders. The shuttle curved down toward a green, glowing city on the edge of the alien moon. Lyra's home sat on a soft cliff, surrounded by crystal trees that shimmered in the wind. It was quiet, peaceful. When the shuttle landed, the door slid open and revealed Lyra herself. She was dressed in soft woven cloth, her skin glowing pale blue, a sign of calm. "You came," she said, her voice melodic. Leo smiled. "Wouldn't miss it." She motioned him inside with a graceful sweep of her arm. "Please, remember. Number." Shoes. He slipped them off and stepped onto a soft floor that felt like moss, but was warm like heated sand. Inside, the home smelled faintly of fruit and spice. Light floated in small bubbles overhead. The dining space wasn't like anything on Earth. The table was sunken into the floor, surrounded by cushions. And in the center, strange dishes steamed with unfamiliar shapes and colors. Lyra sat across from him and nodded. "I made the meal myself. I hope it agrees with your senses." Leo laughed lightly. "As long as nothing tries to bite me back, we're fine." Her lips curled upward in her species' version of a smile. "Nothing bites, unless you ask nicely." Leo blinked. That had to be a joke. He hoped it was. The meal began with a clear broth, served in small round cups. Leo sipped carefully, tasting a hint of citrus and something smoky. Delicious. "So," Lyra began, her fingers gently touching the edge of the table, "why did you really come?" Leo paused, spoon in hand. "You invited me." "Yes, but others were invited before. None came." He swallowed. "Maybe I trust you more than they did." Silence stretched, but it wasn't uncomfortable. Just curious. "I wanted to show you something," Lyra said, rising and extending a hand. He followed her to a side chamber. The walls were glowing with moving pictures, memories. Scenes of her as a child, her family, her training days, and Leo stopped. There was a human figure in the last image. A man, smiling beside a younger Lyra. "Who is that?" She looked down. Her skin shifted to a soft purple, a sign of deep memory. "My father." Leo froze. "Your father was human?" She nodded. "Half. He never returned to Earth. He stayed here. Loved my mother. Died in silence, far from his world." It made sense now. Why she trusted humans more. Why she invited Leo, not just anyone. "You remind me of him," she said gently. "But more unafraid." Before Leo could respond, the house lights dimmed. A soft tone rang a chime, but not mechanical. Lyra turned suddenly. "Oh no. What is it?" Leo asked. She looked toward the door, then at him. Dinner was not just dinner. The door opened with a low hiss. in stepped two older aliens tall, dignified, marked with gold patterns on their skin. "They came for the ceremony," Lyra whispered. "I didn't expect them so soon." Leo's heart skipped. What ceremony? She looked into his eyes. The bonding one. Asterisk, the ceremony begins, Leo stood frozen, his breath shallow as the two elders stepped into the room. They moved with slow, graceful motions, their long robes flowing like mist around them. Their eyes bright silver with no pupils watched him. Carefully, Lyra's fingers tightened slightly around Leo's wrist. She whispered quickly, "Just stay calm. Let me handle this." Leo gave a small nod. He wanted to ask 100 questions, but now wasn't the time. The taller elder walked around him once, inspecting him from head to toe. "This is the one you invited?" the elder asked. His voice was deep, smooth like stone rolling in water. "Yes," Lyra answered, steady but respectful. The second elder, a female with hair made of fine glowing strands, stepped forward. "He smells human, strongly so." Leo blinked. Smells? That was new. The elder woman walked closer and held up a soft cloth. She gently tapped Leo's forehead and wiped a bead of sweat away. "He doesn't flinch. Brave." Lyra's tone was calm. "He does not fear us. He is not like the others." There was silence again. Leo felt his heart thumping harder now. The elder male gave a soft nod. "Then we begin." "Wait, begin what?" Leo finally asked, unable to stay silent. Female elder gave a curious smile. "The rite of first flame." Leo turned to Lyra with wide eyes. "You said dinner." "It was dinner," Lyra whispered. "But in my culture, when we serve food from our family's heart table and light the memory lights, it becomes a signal, one of potential bonding." "You mean ... like marriage?" "Not exactly. It's more a promise, a beginning of one." Leo's stomach turned. This was not how he expected the night to go. He had come for food and a good conversation, not to accidentally propose to an alien woman in front of her family. "Lyra," he whispered, "I didn't know." "I never meant to disrespect you or your customs." "You didn't," she said. Quickly, "I chose to invite you. I hoped they wouldn't come. I just wanted to share something real with you. You've always been ... different. Gentle, curious, kind." Leo didn't know what to say. Her eyes held something deeper than friendship now. A longing, maybe? A hope. The male elder spoke again. "It is not forced. The fire cannot begin unless both hearts are open." Then he stepped aside, revealing a small ceremonial bowl. Inside, a blue flame danced softly. It didn't burn the bowl. It floated, weightless, as if alive. "This is the flame of union," the elder woman said. "If you touch it, it will show your truth. If you hesitate, it will vanish. If you lie, it will turn black." Leo glanced at Lyra. She didn't look scared. She looked ... trusting. He took a deep breath and stepped forward. His hand hovered above the flame. "What happens if I touch it and it stays?" he asked. "And the bond begins," the elder replied. "And your lives will be watched, blessed, and forever tied, no matter how far apart." Leo thought about all the times he and Lyra had spoken, laughed, debated, and explored strange ruins together. She had stood by him during the sandstorm. On Cora 5, he remembered when she carried him for miles after he broke his ankle, and when she cried while watching an old Earth film for the first time. She had slowly become someone important. With one final breath, Leo reached out and touched. The flame. It didn't vanish, it didn't burn, it changed color, turning soft gold. Gasps filled the room. The elder woman bowed slightly. The flame accepts. Lyra's skin turned to a glowing pinker species sign of joy. Her eyes shimmered. Leo looked at her, stunned. So what now? She stepped forward and gently took his hand. Now, we see what the stars have planned for us. Behind them, the two elders whispered a short blessing. The blue lights overhead brightened slightly. The room warmed. Leo didn't know what future he had just stepped into. But as Lyra smiled and leaned close, her voice a whisper in his ear, he knew one thing. Dinner had definitely turned into something unexpected. Asterisk, a bond not easily broken after the ceremony. A room slowly emptied. The elders gave respectful nods and left, their robes flowing behind them like moving shadows. The soft golden flame in the bowl faded until only a faint light remained, gently pulsing like a heartbeat. Leo sat back down on the cushion, still processing everything. Lyra knelt beside him. Are you all right? He looked at her and gave a nervous laugh. I think so. Maybe. I'm not sure yet. She smiled. You handled it better than most would. I thought I came here just for food. Now I single quotes am bonded? Not bonded. She corrected gently. Begun. It's like planting a seed. If we both care for it, something strong will grow. If not, it fades naturally. It's not forced. You can walk away any time. Leo nodded slowly. That helps. A little. Lyra stood up and offered her hand again. Come, there's something else I want to show you. He took her hand without hesitation this time. Her fingers were warm and steady. She led him to a different room, smaller, with no floating lights. Only soft, glowing lines along the walls. There were plants growing in strange shapes, twisting in the air, glowing with color, humming softly. This is my private space, she said. My heart room. I bring no one here, not even the council. Leo looked around in quiet awe. It's beautiful. These plants grow only with emotion, she explained. They sense what we feel. If we lie, they wilt. If we're calm, they bloom. If there's love, they sing. Leo stepped closer to one. The small red bloom closest to him gave off a soft, single note like a bell in the wind. Lyra smiled. They like you. Leo turned to her, voice softer now. Why me, Lyra? Her skin shifted to a gentle purple, a color of honesty. Because you never treated me like I was strange. You looked at me like I was just a person, not a species, not an alien. She walked over and stood very close to him now. You laughed at my jokes. You let me cry when I didn't understand human music. You shared things I couldn't even explain in my own words. The flower beside them gave another soft note. Leo looked into her eyes. And you made me feel like I belonged out here, like I wasn't just some Earth visitor in a cold galaxy. The air around them warmed. More flowers began to hum soft, gentle music rising slowly. The colors brightened. Pink, orange, gold. Lyra leaned her forehead gently against his. This is rare, she whispered. Our people and yours. It's not just the body that bonds. It's memory, spirit. That's what the old ones call soul fusion, Leo whispered. Are we doing that now? She laughed, her voice like rain on soft leaves. No, that's much deeper, much later. This is just the beginning of a dance. A moment passed, then another. Neither of them spoke. Then Leo asked, what happens now? With us? Lyra stepped back slightly, but her eyes stayed locked on his. We keep walking. Together, we face what's next. Maybe this grows, maybe it fades, but we try. If you want. Leo looked around at the living plants, the music, the gentle lights. He thought of her bravery, her trust in him, and the way her voice never held judgment, only hope. I want. He said simply. Her eyes sparkled. She took his hand again and squeezed it. Just then, the wall behind them pulsed, an alert. A message signal. Lyra moved to it and pressed a glowing pad. A voice came through, rough, harsh. This is Commander Drek of the Outer Flame Fleet. We are aware of the human's presence. He is marked. He is claimed. He must not bond without consequence. Lyra's smile vanished. Her skin color shifted quickly, red streaks appearing down her neck. Fear.Leo stood, tense. Who was that? She turned, voice tight. Someone from my past. Someone who doesn't believe in peace between our kinds. The message repeated. Break the bond, or face judgment. Leo's fists clenched. Guess dinner isn't over yet. Lyra's eyes met his. No, it's only just begun. Asterisk the warning in the past. The room fell quiet after the message ended. The glowing plants stopped humming. Their light dimmed slightly, as if they sensed the shift in emotion. Leo stood beside Lyra, trying to stay calm. Who is Commander Drek? Lyra didn't answer right away. She moved to the side and closed the alert with a wave of her hand. Then she turned toward Leo with a slow breath. He was once promised to me, she said softly. By our elders, years ago. Leo blinked. Promised? Like arranged? She nodded. Back then, I had no say. I was part of a bloodline meant to join houses through bonding. Drek was from a powerful family. The council approved. But I refused. Leo crossed his arms. And what happened? He challenged my decision. But instead of fighting, I left. The capital. Joined the Intergalactic Translator Guild. That's how I ended up on Station Delta 3. And met you. So now that he knows I'm here, he thinks if taken what's his. Lyra looked away. That's how he sees it. Even though the promise was broken long ago. Leo stared at the now dark communication panel. You think? He'll come? He will. And he won't come alone. The silence returned, heavy this time. Outside, faint wind whistled between the glowing crystal trees. The warmth of earlier was gone. Leo walked toward one of the humming plants. It still glowed softly. He touched it, and a faint note returned. They haven't stopped glowing. He said, Not completely. Lyra joined him. Because something is still alive here, between us. Leo turned to her. Then we protect it. We don't let someone else decide what this becomes. She touched his arm gently. You say that now. But Drek is dangerous, Leo. He controls parts of the Outer Flame Fleet. If he comes here with soldiers, we'll have to leave. This place ... my home. May not survive. Leo gave a small smile. Then it's a good thing I've survived worse than angry ex-fiancés with fleets. Lyra raised a brow. Such as? He chuckled. Once crash-landed on a sulfur moon with only a broken translator, a broken leg, and a lizard that tried. To marry me. Lyra laughed, for real this time. Her skin warmed to that soft pink again. Then she became serious. We don't have long. Drek's ships can reach this moon in a few hours. We must decide, hide or face him. Leo's voice was steady. We face him, together. But the council, forget the council, he interrupted gently. They didn't stand with you when you said no to him? I will. Lyra studied his face. There was no fear there, no hesitation, just quiet resolve. Then she nodded. Then we prepare. Over the next 2 hours, the home changed. Lights were lowered. The outer shields were activated. Emergency defense drones were brought online. Not for war, but for warning. Lyra moved like a commander-efficient, focused, calm. Leo followed her lead, helping wherever he could, even though most of the tech was unfamiliar. By the 3rd hour, a signal arrived from the outer sky. He's here, Lyra said, standing by the main console. Leo walked up beside her. Any idea how many ships? She checked the screen. 1, but it's large, flagship class. Of course it is. A voice came through again, deeper and louder this time. Lyra of House Valen. Step forward. Bring the human. You have one chance to undo this mistake. Lyra tapped a command to open the visual feed. The screen lit up, showing Commander Drek. He was broad-shouldered, taller than most of Lyra's kind, with golden markings around his eyes and a jagged scar across his neck. His skin shimmered with red, a color of rage. Leo stepped into view. Drek's eyes narrowed. So this is the one. You chose a weakling from a dying planet over your destiny? Lyra raised her chin. I chose someone who respects me, not someone who wants to control me. You'll regret this, Drek said coldly. When I come down, I will take back what's mine. Leo stepped closer to the screen. Then bring everything you've got. But just know this Earth's not dying, and I'm not weak. Drek sneered. Then I will enjoy tearing you apart. The feed cut. Lyra looked at Leo with concern. That was brave, but now he'll come for real. Leo gave a soft smile. Let him. Asterisk fire on the horizon. The sky above Lyra's home shimmered with the reflection of the warship as it descended from orbit. The ground shook softly beneath Leo's feet. He stepped outside with Lyra beside him, both of them watching the massive dark vessel glide into the atmosphere, like a shadow falling from the stars. The outer shields of the house buzzed softly as they powered up to full strength. The defense drones floated into position, silent but ready. He's coming fast, Lyra said, her voice low. I doubt he's here to talk. Leo clenched his jaw. We'll talk his way, if that's what he wants. She glanced at him. Are you ready for this? Leo gave a half-smile. I've been ready since you offered me soup. That made her laugh, even if just for a second. The warship landed just outside the crystal tree line. Its lower ramp hissed open, steam pouring out as the figure of Commander Drek appeared. He didn't come alone. 6 armored guards flanked him, their weapons humming with dangerous energy. They walked with purpose, forming a wall of threat around. Their leader, Drek, stepped forward slowly, his long cloak dragging over the glowing grass. Lyra, he called. This is your last chance. Leo stepped forward. No, this is your last mistake. Drek laughed, a sharp sound. You think? You can stop me? You some soft human translator. Leo didn't flinch. I don't need to stop you. I just need to hold you long enough for her to finish this. Drek raised an eyebrow. Her? Lyra raised her hand, and the trees behind her began to shift. The plants in her heart room, the emotional vines, had grown outward, responding to her feelings. Now they moved like living weapons. The humming notes became louder. I never needed soldiers, she said. My family line was born with something stronger command over the living symphony. The guards hesitated, their feet crunching over vines that curled up from the earth. Leave now, Lyra warned, or be buried under my roots. Drek growled. I should have taken you when I had the chance. You tried, she replied, but I was never yours. He lifted his hand to signal the attack. Before he could shout, Leo charged. Everyone froze in surprise as the human ran forward, not with a weapon, but with bare hands. He ducked under the first guard's strike and used his momentum to knock him off balance. The second guard tried to grab him, but Leo spun and kicked low, toppling the alien's legs. Chaos broke out. The defense drones joined in non-lethal, but powerful. They fired stunning bolts that crackled against armor. Lyra commanded the vines with sharp movements of her hands. The ground pulsed, and glowing roots snatched up the guards. Wrapping around their limbs, Leo dodged a blast that scorched the grass near his feet. He rolled, grabbed a stunned guard's weapon, and aimed it at Drek. Enough, Leo shouted. Drek looked around. His guards were tangled, his advantage gone. You would die for her? Drek snarled. No, Leo said, stepping closer. I would live for her. And that's something you've never understood. Lyra walked to Leo's side. Her voice was calm but firm. You lost this, Drek, long ago. Return to your world. We're done. For a long moment, Drek stood frozen. Then he spat on the ground. This isn't over. He turned and stormed back to his ship. The few conscious guards stumbled after him. Within minutes, the warship lifted off and vanished into the clouds. The wind blew gently. Silence fell. Lyra let out a long breath. The vines retreated. The hum of the plants faded. Leo lowered the weapon and let it drop. They stood together in the quiet evening. You didn't have to do that, she said softly. I know, he replied, but I wanted to. She took his hand and held it close. I've never had anyone stand between me and danger like that. Leo smiled, a little tired now. Well, maybe next time just a movie night? Lyra laughed. Deal. They turned toward the house together. Behind them, the plants bloomed again, full of light, full of song. The flame in the bowl had relit itself. The bond was no longer just a beginning. It was real. Asterisk. What comes after fire? The warship was gone. Drek's threats faded into the sky along with his pride. But even as the wind settled and peace returned, a quiet heaviness lingered in the air. Leo sat on the front steps of Lyra's home, watching the stars rise one by one in the alien sky. The warm lights of the floating plants flickered above, soft and soothing. Lyra came out with 2 steaming cups and sat beside him. Herb root tea, she said. It helps the nerves. Leo chuckled and took the cup. Unless it melts human tongues. Only a little, she joked. They sat in silence for a moment, sipping quietly. Then Lyra spoke again, her voice soft. You know, this bond, it was never supposed to happen like this. Leo looked over. Yeah, pretty sure most romantic stories don't include battle drones and ex-fiance invasions. She smiled, but then looked serious. But it's not just the chaos. It's how fast it moved. Our people, your people, were still learning how to be in the same space without fear. Relationships like ours are rare and risky. Leo nodded. I know. Back home, some people still panic if their neighbor owns a robot dog. I can't imagine what they'd say if I came back with a glowing alien partner. Her smile faded. Slightly. Would you go back? He paused. Eventually. Maybe. Earth still feels like home. But now, this place, you? It doesn't feel far anymore. It feels real. She looked up at the sky. I always thought I'd be alone. My people think my bond with a human is strange. Wrong even. But when I met you, it all stopped feeling wrong. It started feeling simple. Leo looked at her. You think what we have is simple? She turned to him, eyes soft. Yes, simple in the way that breathing is. Easy. Needed. His chest tightened at her words. He hadn't expected this feeling, not in a galaxy full of war and silence. But Lyra was right. With her, things made sense. She took his hand and gently placed it over the center of her chest. Do you feel that? A gentle thrum like a pulse, but deeper, almost musical beat under his palm. Our people call it the life song. It gets stronger when we're near someone we trust. Leo felt it. Strong. Steady. Real. He moved her hand to his chest. Do you feel mine? She nodded. Not with my fingers. With my soul? They sat that way for a moment, their hands resting over each other's hearts. Then the calm was interrupted by a soft, alert tone from inside the house. Lyra stood. That's the outercom line. It might be ... the council. Leo followed her in. She pressed a control and a hologram flickered to life. An older alien female appeared. Her skin was silver gray, her eyes deep blue. She wore robes of swirling starlight patterns. Lyra of Valen, the figure said. And Leo of Earth. Leo blinked. They know my name? The elder nodded. The council watched what happened with Commander Drek. We were impressed by your defense and your restraint. Lyra stood tall. We had no desire for war. Just peace. Yes, the elder replied. And for the first time, we saw what peace between your kind and ours might look like. You have our respect. Leo raised a brow. Wait, so you're not angry? The elder smiled slightly. We were. Until we saw what love's like when it is unforced, unclaimed, and freely chosen. Lyra's eyes widened. What does this mean? It means the Council has voted to formally recognize your bond and to begin Earth's inclusion in our deeper alliance rings. You've done more tonight than diplomats have done in decades. The hologram flickered once and then vanished. Leo looked at Lyra, stunned. Did we just change intergalactic politics with one dinner? She laughed. Yes, and a punch to the face. He grinned. Not bad for a translator and a runaway bride. They stood in the center of the home, the lights glowing warmer now. The bond wasn't just personal anymore. It was history. Asterisk. The bond that echoed. The following day arrived quietly, with golden light slipping through the crystal trees and soft warmth spreading over the hill where Lyra's home stood. No ships filled the sky, no alarms rang. The galaxy, for now, had gone still. Leo woke slowly, feeling rested but unsure of the strange weight in his chest. Not heavy, but full. Full of something he hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. He stepped out onto the garden path and found Lyra already there, barefoot, her hair glowing softly in the morning light. She was humming. Not a tune he recognized, but a melody the plants around her clearly knew, because they were blooming one by one with each soft note. You're up early, he said. She turned to him with a gentle smile. The plants asked me to sing. He raised an eyebrow. That normal? Not really. They're just ... happy. He walked over and joined her, looking at the colorful blossoms around them. I think I'm starting to understand your world. And I'm starting to understand yours, she replied. You act like you're fragile, but deep down, you humans carry storms inside you. And sometimes ... sunshine. Leo chuckled. Depends on the breakfast. They sat down together, near a low table with fresh fruit and some kind of spiral-shaped bread that steamed gently. Lyra offered him a slice. It's sweetened with memory root. Sounds like something that'll make me dream in circles, he teased, but took a bite anyway. It was soft, warm, and full of flavor that felt strangely familiar, like a distant memory wrapped in spice. As they ate, the conversation shifted. So ... what happens now? Leo asked, brushing crumbs off his shirt. Lyra paused. Well, the Council approved our bond. That alone opens up a lot. We'll be watched, studied, admired or hated, depending on who's looking. Leo nodded. Yeah, that sounds like Earth politics too. She laughed. I don't want us to be symbols. Leo, I just want us to be us. Then let's just live, he said. Explore, learn, maybe visit Earth. Show them what a real first contact relationship looks like. She tilted her head. Earth? Do you think they're ready to see me? He gave her a sideways look. You're kind, brilliant, and you make glowing plants bloom when you sing. You'll be the most popular guest in the solar system. But I don't blend in. He reached over and took her hand. Neither do I. That's why we found each other. She looked down at their hands. I've always believed the universe was full of strange beauty, but I never thought I'd find something that felt like home inside another person. Leo smiled, soft and real. You found it. So did I. A small chime rang from the corner of the house. A message came in short. Official. Lyra read it aloud. Ambassador status confirmed. Leo of Earth and Lyra of Valen assigned joint diplomatic. Post. Location. Variable. Leo raised a brow. We're diplomats now? Apparently, she said with a smirk. He leaned back against a soft wall and sighed. You know, I came here expecting dinner and a few polite words. Instead, I got a fight, a flame, a near-bonding ceremony, and a political promotion. Lyra leaned into his side. And me. Leo looked at her and nodded. Yeah, you most of all. They sat together under the rising twin suns, warm and quiet, while the rest of the galaxy turned slowly. Somewhere out there, others were still arguing, still building ships, still preparing for war or peace or something in between. But in this moment, two people, one human, one alien just sat still together, not because they had to, because they wanted to. And far below the surface of the world, deep in the root chambers of the oldest plants, a new song began to grow. A song about a dinner that became a flame ... and a flame that lit the path for everything after. The end.